There's so much fear being flung at us from all different directions, and we could get easily lost in a downward spiral. So the importance of community, so vital for keeping our vibrations high, having the right kind of conversations that lift the narrative, that help us to lift and create from a higher space. And today, there's just so much excitement I have to welcome Will Rodriguez and Karen Endsley to the show, who are the co-pilots of the Skeptic Metaphysicians podcast, but also so much more than that. They are also the founders of a whole new community of conscious conversations. Join us to find out more.
Soul Nectar Show, the Soul Nectar Show. You're invited, delighted to discover who you are. Anything is possible if you believe. So join us on this beautiful journey. Soul Nectar Show. Soul Nectar Show. Soul Nectar Show.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Nectar Show, that show where we talk about all things essence, where we gather around the campfire and we share our stories of connection to that which is greater than us, the great mystery beyond the veil, to those synchronistic moments that lead us inexorably to a deeper understanding of ourselves and what we are doing here on Earth, in Earth School, at this time of the Great Awakening. And honestly, it looks like a hot mess. I'm your host, Kerri Hummingbird. And I love these conversations week after week on Soul Nectar Show. 9 years now, believe it or not, people. 9 years of weekly episodes. You're welcome. I love you. And I wouldn't do it if it didn't feed me too, to get together with my friends and to have conscious conversation with the intention of opening that conduit of spirit, that hollow bone in the tradition of the Native Americans, the hollow bone of spirit, and to let myself be informed by spirit about what is actually going on. Because, as you know, our minds are amazing storytelling machines, and they can tell us a whole lot of things about what is going on that may or may not be true completely, depending on your perspective. And it's important to bring in all these aspects. And so I love these conversations because they help me get centered back in the truth. And really, you guys, we're here to keep each other sane. And I feel like that's really the point of what we're going to talk about today, is that these conversations with people that have access to a higher consciousness state of being can have these conversations together and share them with others, with you guys. And then as you're all listening and taking this in, now you're considering these ideas, and then these ideas are spreading, and they're spreading like a blossoming. Instead of the fear virus, we're like blossoming love. And blossoming love is way better than spreading fear virus. And so we got to be mindful about these conversations. And yeah, it's messy. And yeah, it's not to say I don't feel fear, I don't feel anger, and even hatred has come up in my body, in my bones. My ancestors are screaming at me. And we can bring everything that happens into a higher view through these kind of conversations. And so that's why I'm really, really excited today to have Will and Karen on the show. Will and Karen from the Metaphysical podcast, and also the Skeptic Metaphysicians, I should say, but also something new that has been in the works for a really, really long time, but being done right. And it's finally out there and it's launched, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear about it today. So I hope you get excited as I am about this. So Will and Karen, would you like to just, I know you guys were doing your podcast for a really long time, and you still are doing your podcast. You're still doing the Skeptic Metaphysicians, right? On top of this new project that I'm also part of, which is really excited, which is why we're here today talking about it. But like, tell us just a little snapshot of each of you for the audience so that they can understand who you are and the energy that you're bringing to the work that you're doing in the world.
Right. Well, I'm going to defer to ladies first.
No, I think you need to go first. You started it.
Okay.
You were the seed.
So we should pre-warn people that our relationship is very different than a lot of the people that come on shows like this. We are very joyful. We have fun with each other, and hopefully you're on board for that kind of conversation because we did an interview earlier today that he was thrown completely by our engagement. So hopefully that won't happen this time. I am a television producer and executive by trade. I have been my entire career. I won't say how long that is because that's embarrassing. But like everyone else, in 2020, when COVID hit, I looked at myself in the mirror, did not like who I was, ended up spiraling into an existential crisis. Because of that, I started therapy and was unbelievably lucky to find a therapist right off the bat who was open to these types of conversations and tuned me into meditation. Through these meditations and conversations that I had with my therapist, I started to understand that there was a lot more going on than what I was seeing in the mirror. And so I started having these conversations with people in the spiritual awakening field, metaphysics field. And these conversations were helping me to piece together who I was, why I was, where I was going, who I really needed to be, how to get there, these kinds of things. And so little by little over time, I started to get better, I guess, for lack of a better term, feel better about everything. And then I was lucky enough to bamboozle my bride into being my co-host. And we have been doing the Skeptic Metaphysicians show, which is these types of conversations weekly without fail for now has been over 4 years. So we're pretty excited about it. And then of course this spun off into something much bigger and much more fun, but I'll defer the floor to my lovely bride.
All I can think of now is that Friends episode of that game. You've been bamboozled.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, oh boy. Gosh, I don't know what much to say. Career-wise, I started out as a teacher. I was a school teacher. I taught 6th through 12th grade in Spanish, art, and anthropology. Then I managed a real estate investment company for a while, and then I got roped into working in TV by this guy.
Bamboozled.
I've been bamboozled. So that has been kind of what I've been doing for the last 10 years. We had our daughter. I was an older parent. So that was a big energy kind of. But as far as this whole space goes, Will, he experimented with a lot of different modalities in his youth and then kind of has been getting back to those, looking for some sort of a proof where I never needed that proof. I had experiences in my life and when you know, you know. And I always just knew, like, and it never occurred to me that there wasn't anything beyond this current iteration that we're in. So originally when he asked me to join the podcast, it was because the first time we had some friends actually that he was interviewing that had had this amazing spiritual experience in Africa. So I jumped on and we just had so much fun, the four of us talking, that every once in a while I'd kind of come in and then I just became a regular. So he roped me into the podcast. He's good at that. He just pulls me into stuff.
Bamboozled.
And actually there was a time, and I don't know, Kerri, if you knew this, but it was, how intense it is to do these podcasts week after week and the editing, and he did all of that. And it was getting to the point where it was taking so much time away from our home life and from our daughter. He was constantly on the computer. So we were like, okay, you've gotten a lot as far as your health and recovering and feeling centered and peace. It's time to sunset this and spend more time with the family. And so then I'm like, well, let me just Google it, see if anyone's even ever listened to the podcast. So I look it up and I don't remember what site it was. I don't know if it was Apple
Podcast.
Was it Apple Podcast? But there was like all these pages of reviews that we had no idea even existed, where people had written like lengthy paragraphs about our little show. And like taken time and effort. And
Surprise,
they were all 5
surprise.
stars. We were shocked. I was like, oh my God. And I remember the last one that I read, because we read them all, but the last one I read, the last thing this guy wrote was, "Thank you for helping me feel normal." And we're like, well, we can't quit this now. We're helping one person at least, someone's getting some. And all we do, we just interview people. Like we're not spiritual or special or anything, but hearing the messages, I guess, is what's helping, these people. So Will fortunately was able to find some software that cut the editing time down in half, and we were able to continue. And then just really decided that we needed to spread these messages on a grander scale to really amplify their reach. And we're getting more messages from people. Again, I feel normal now, or I thought I was weird, but now I know I'm not. And realizing this, we were talking in our last interview that this really is kind of mainstream, but the mainstream people don't know it's mainstream. So it's like hidden mainstream. It's like covert. So we want to bring it out into the open to say, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're all capable of. So that's kind of our
covert mainstream.
Yeah, covert mainstream. Yeah, and we were surprised by finding those reviews because I was doing it super selfishly. This was for me. The show was for me. I wasn't doing it for anybody else. So to find that there were people actually listening, and not only listening, but actually being moved by it and being helped by it, just
enough to reach out and to like write a paragraph.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Kerri, it changed everything. It changed everything. It went from I'm doing this for me to I'm doing this for us. And that was a paradigm shift for me because suddenly now it's bigger. The conversation means so much more because it's not just what does Will need. Now it's what does Will, Karen, and everyone else who's listening need. And that made the show better, I think.
That's profound because in the inner medicine training that I do, we work with the gene keys, and in the gene key there's 3 sequences. The second to the last sequence brings you through your personal healing journey, right? Like you're talking about, like it goes up the Venus sequence and you heal all this inner stuff. Like you face all your dark shadows and you figure out what your purpose is and all those things that are hard to face, and you face it. And then the last sequence is prosperity. And I love Richard Rudd because what he says in the prosperity sequence to kick it off is he tells the story of Percival and the Holy Grail and how, Percival was the only one who stood there and said, how can I serve the Grail? Like that's the turning point. When you start asking not about me anymore, but how can my gifts, my wisdom, my life experience, my voice, my essence, everything that I know and I've learned in my life, how can that serve the Grail? How can that serve God's source, creator, great spirit, humanity, the planet? That's when you really hit the money, so to speak, because it feels good to be in service in that way. It's deeply satisfying and nourishing to be in service in that way. And it hits a whole new frequency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you hit the nail on the head as to what exactly it is what we're doing with New Reality TV. It's exactly that. It is our way of trying to give to the world what we feel the world really needs right now. And that is these conversations that you are doing. People like you who are helping to spread the messages are so important right now. They're helping to raise the vibrations, the consciousness of the planet. Each one of us, our show, your show, everyone else's show, we're our own little candles in the darkness, right? This is Karen's analogy. I'm totally stealing it, but
so much better than screaming.
Yes, I can't change it.
Well, you can scream too.
Yeah.
Screaming's okay.
Well, it used to be where we were all just screaming into the void, trying to get our voices heard. So why not bring everyone together into one room so that we become this cacophonous noise that there's no choice but to listen to us. Karen's has a much more touchy-feely one, which is we all have our little candles in the darkness.
Mock it.
I'm not. I love it. It's a beautiful. I love it. I love it much more. To the fact that I don't even use the screaming thing anymore.
You don't.
No.
You don't. Yeah,
No.
we're all holding our candles, illuminating what we can with one light. But if we gather all of these candles together, we're just going to create this big, beautiful beacon that people can't help but see.
Absolutely, and that's what we're trying to do with New Reality.
Yeah, I love that. And what I really love about it is that anyway, in my understanding, in my own personal journey, what I've realized is that there's we each have this unique thumbprint. we each take this unique thumbprint journey. And that's ours and only ours to take. So like you can't follow somebody else to the grail. Is the thing, the Knights of the Round Table, they had to find their own path to the grail. Right? They could not follow anybody else. And if they followed somebody else, they would never find it. Mm-hmm. That's where, and so we're in this moment, right? We're like, we all get to take our own journey. And so we might feel like we're lost because there's nobody around us or doesn't understand, but we have a whole community here. We do understand, and we are taking our own journey, and we can celebrate each other.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's one of the things that we love about New Reality is we have 40 plus content partners creating beautiful content with these wonderful messages and a vast array of modalities. So, maybe you don't think channeling is real, but you believe in mediumship, or there's a path for everyone. There's an opportunity for everyone to learn and to grow from either something they're comfortable with or maybe to discover something new. Many paths to the truth. So we're helping. I don't want to say we're providing all these paths. We're helping our content partners that are already providing these paths to really kind of amplify their message, get all of these options available. So someone who maybe is, steeped in this space, or someone who's never even really, dipped their toe in it yet, can come either one and find something or someone that they can resonate with, that they can learn from and they can grow from.
And it's like permission, right? I mean, when you see other people talking about something that you've just been privately in your own space afraid to talk about, and then you hear somebody else say it, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
That happens for other people too. And it's like, it's very reassuring, it's very reassuring to have a safe place where that conversation can happen without the judgment, without the fear, without, sort of othering or all the things that can happen in a space that's not curated.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head again by saying fear, because there's so much fear right now being shoved in our face everywhere you look, that a lot of this content can be found elsewhere. It can be found on YouTube, for example. And YouTube's an incredible platform. However, it incentivizes sensationalism. It incentivizes a fear response. So it will keep feeding you what you are watching, and keeps giving you what's going to continue to have you swirl down the rabbit hole of sensationalism. And that's not really what we're resonating with. What we wanted to do is, to your point, curate the content so that when you come to New Reality TV, you know that all the content here is meant specifically to help raise the vibrations. It's not something that's elicited to create. It's not created to elicit a fear response. It's not created to divide or disparage or make you feel bad in any way, just the opposite. Now, we do talk about shadow work and things like that. We have a lot of folks, different modalities that speak about that, but it's always in the context of healing, of getting better, of moving forward, moving up in our vibrational frequencies versus spiraling down. And unfortunately, YouTube has a habit of incentivizing that type of thing. And doesn't feel right for us. So though YouTube is great for discovery, we find a safe space like New Reality TV is probably what most of the people in our space are looking for.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I said yes to coming to be part of this with you guys, is because when I started my podcast, I'm actually using Vimeo for it, because they don't put other people's content after my content.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is have some extremely uplifting experience for people on one of my podcasts, and then the provider all of a sudden injects some completely other that's just going to tear down everything that we just built.
Yes.
I'm not interested in that. And I'm not interested in, whatever wacky stuff might be out there that I wouldn't necessarily resonate with.
Right.
So I like to curate my own feed, in that way. It was one of the reasons I was really, when I use it on my website, I don't use YouTube, because I do have a YouTube channel because I want people to be able to find it. But my preference is to have a curated container where it's set with intention, and the intention is not to make a bunch of money, like only, right? Like, because YouTube is also just there to make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Right.
But the intention is something higher vibrational, like to raise the vibration, like you just said, to share tools and techniques and information and conversations that help you to feel better about your life and not worse.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right. And that's what sets New Reality TV apart, I believe. We very specifically select the content that we do for that exact reason. We will never insert someone else's content after yours to recommend something that may or may not resonate with someone. If someone goes in there for your show, we welcome them to explore and see who else resonates with them. But not everyone's going to, right? We have everything from a Norse shaman to a Thai Buddhist monk and everything in between. Not all the content is for everyone, but the joy is in the discovery, knowing that it's a safe space to explore because it's not going to be something that's going to trigger you.
Yeah, and it's hard to navigate. I mean, when you first get started, and even some people who are well in, decades in, get down some rabbit holes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We've just seen that happen. And then once down the rabbit hole, super hard to find your way back.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
And with the importance of keeping your mindset in a positive light, in spite of everything that's going on around you, like we talked about it before we started recording, right? That we are in the space right now where the universe, whoever, God, whatever you're calling it, whatever you want to talk about it, I don't know even how to put it, but we need to keep our calm, our cool. If we allow ourselves to be dragged down in the mud with everything else that's going on, it defeats what we're trying to do by lifting ourselves up.
And the problem is it's so easy to let that happen.
Yeah.
Even in regular life, like not even talking about spirituality, someone could tell you you're gorgeous, or people 1,000 times. And one guy tells you have big ears and you're fixated on your ears. So that is, for some reason, that negative just has this like attachment to it. And so it's really important for us to create a space where that's not going to happen, So you do all this work to clear your mind, to be at peace, and you can just find all kinds of beautiful messages that are only going to keep that and elevate that even more for you and teach you how to keep yourself elevated, because we have some incredible teachers. And we were talking about how a lot of our shows, it's like a masterclass. They're all so giving, and everyone is sharing their experiences and what they've learned and tips and talking to other people, all in the interest of helping. And it's wonderful.
Yeah. And, a lot of effort goes into creating these broadcasts. So
Heck yeah.
we learn a lot along the way too. So like I said, it does resource and nourish us to do it. And yeah, like a masterclass. Exactly. Like there's people that have been following my podcast for years who've never taken a class, but they're like, oh my gosh, I've grown so much just by listening to your podcast. And I'm like, great. So, I mean, I'm happy, right? As a business person, I'm like, this is not working for my bottom line. But as a spiritual person, it's working great. Right. Perfect. So, and I like that also. The other thing that was a real turn on for me was that you guys are open to the shadow work, because I talk a lot about shadow work on my podcast, right? And it's like, because we don't want to just turn away and avert our eyes from what's going on. We need to stay aware. It's coming up for a reason. We don't just like bury our head in the sand and pretend it's not happening and like drink Kool-Aid and chew bubble gum.
Hope for the best.
Hope for the best, kumbaya by the campfire. Like, no, we've got to be aware. And then we get to learn how to handle that, what we might perceive as really negative or really horrible, or, all the words that we could describe what we're seeing. We get to learn what to do with that content, how to process, how to move through it, how to elevate our own vibration through the integration of that content, rather than trying to separate out and never look at it and just sequester.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And then I was just going to say, even if you're listening to these shows, like for us, we're doing these interviews, but we're not actually doing this work. We're talking to people, but like just by, I don't want to say osmosis, but just kind of being entrenched, it changes you.
Yeah.
And even though, we're not astral projecting all over, which we would both love to do, we are both so much more open to things, especially my little skeptic over here. Some of the stuff he's open to, I'm like, all right. And it's just because being immersed
Yeah.
in this space with these people.
But when you talk about shadow work, it's so important. It's for so many reasons. For me specifically, my entire life I was living unconsciously. I had no idea who I was. I was angry, judgmental, self-entitled my entire life, thinking that I was this really awesome dude, right? Not realizing how idiotic I actually was walking my day-to-day life. Karen gets mad because I wasn't that bad, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I picked you. I'd like to think I didn't pick a total loser.
No, I'm just really good at
You
hiding
saw
things.
you saw through all that into
Bamboozled.
Right.
I was bamboozled.
Right, right. But the shadow work, doing the shadow work, is what allowed me to first see it and then fix it. Because if you don't, we're not talking, we're not interested in spiritual bypassing. We do want to keep our thoughts on the positivity because we create our own reality. But that includes looking into the shadows so that you can look and see what needs to be worked on. The only way that we're going to evolve spiritually is by looking into those shadows, finding what needs to change and changing it. That's the whole purpose of us being here, right? That's the whole reason that we're on this planet, is to grow. And when does growth happen? It happens at the edge of our comfort zones. And if we just live in our life comfortably all day long, every day, we're not going to grow. We're going to stay stagnant. The shadows, that's where the work starts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it is hard. You get a lot. I mean, I'm tripping over myself with words because this year so far has been just like if we were having a giant snowball fight with all the shadows, they would be winning in some way right now, because they're like, we're going to pummel you with shadows. And there's like, just like, they have like all these devices to like pummel a whole bunch more on us. And we're just like, what, and it can be a lot. But if we stick with it, I also had this metaphor of like the tortoise and the hare. We all know how that story works out.
Mm-hmm.
The hare is so cocky and just so certain he can just sprint off the line and toss a bunch of snowballs our way and it's all gonna. No, the tortoise is like, love is patient, love is kind.
Yeah.
There's this viral video now that I've seen on all kinds of social media platforms, and it's different people doing it, but there's a whole line of Dixie cups lined up in a line, and two people start at the beginning, and then one takes each cup from the closest area and puts it in a pile.
Yeah, you have to get all the cups in a bin.
Yeah, you have to get all the cups in one.
It's a race,
right? And so one person starts close and the other person starts far, and they look to see if it's better to start with the easy stuff and then work towards the hard, or is it better to work for the hard and make your way towards the easy thing. Inevitably, every time that we've seen that video, the one who starts far is the one who wins. So if you take your analogy of the snowball fight, they're going to run out of snow anytime now, very soon.
They're using up all theirs. We still have our little.
That's right. and
snowball.
then we are going to have built this massive snowman that's going to be barreling down on them when the coast is clear. So
In the
just be
tsunami
patient.
of love that is coming.
Exactly. Exactly. It's an iceberg, baby.
Iceberg of love. Sounds like a reality show. The Iceberg of Love.
Ooh, copyrighted. Don't take it.
20 couples, bikinis on the iceberg. Will their love survive?
Or will they be iced out?
Yeah. Speaking of ice, anyway.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I think that we can basically send a whole lot of love to all that is in front of us. And it's easier to do it when we gather together, because it's nice to have that idea in your mind. But if you're all by yourself trying to do it, eventually it kind of starts to wear you down. It's like starts wearing down all your armor of love, it's like,
And the thing about it is everybody needs it so much. Like when we talk about new reality TV, and it's like, yeah, the people that are in this space, they need that. You need to feel this hope. But then the people that are not in this space, they're the ones that really need it because they need to know there's a different way and this is how you do it. So it's really, both sides are really in need of what these messages and the things that we're trying to help broadcast.
Right. But the caveat is you need to leave all that shit behind at the door. If you walk in this door, you're walking in this door as a spiritual being, not as a physical
You
being.
can't put like not
you can't pick a
ramifications,
team.
constraints, or
Yeah.
you can't demand how someone experiences something. You can say, here, have some chocolate cake, but you can't say you have to chew it in 15 bites.
But they can't.
You got to chew it how you're going to chew it, and then you'll really learn how delicious it is.
Absolutely. They just can't bring their false teeth in with them.
If they need it to chew, and then maybe later they take them out and realize they don't need the false teeth.
Well,
But how are they going to let themselves be vulnerable if they don't know what it is? Some people can, but so many people can't. And we're providing a safe space. So yeah, come in as you are, look at this, and hopefully this will change you and you'll release that shell. You'll get rid of those false teeth, whatever, and eat the cake.
yeah, no, but my thought is I just don't want them to bring the baggage with them. Yeah, on either side, on no side.
I know, but it's going to happen and we have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Can't
people
have
are
them
who
come to
they
it
are.
on our terms.
Yeah. I mean, you guys you're curating a space. And so you get to decide how that space is going to be curated.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing you say is like less mind, more heart.
Yes. It's much more of a heart-centered, soul-led organization. It's a community. It's like the old hippie communes, right?
Well, see, I was talking about people that are coming to get the content, not the content creators.
Yeah.
People that are coming to get the content,
They need it.
they need the content. And, I don't know if you ever saw this, but like, it's almost like whenever somebody, like a little child, knows that they kind of detect they did something that they shouldn't have done, right? But they kind of don't want to get in trouble for it. And so they'll just sort of double down on denial that they did it, right? And then just kind of like extra lie about it. And so, but like really inside, they already know that was, that they already kind of stepped over a line. But it's like, how do you, and that's what our community does is like, because we all were that little child that did that, all of us. And so we've learned how to be owning our own stuff, right? We've learned how to admit mistakes.
Those of
and then
us
what
who
to
have
do with that, right?
those of us who have done the shadow work,
Right.
because there's a lot of people out there who believe that is perfectly normal and natural way to be, unfortunately.
Yes. And that's why because that previous way of being creates a lot of dissonance in the frequency on the planet. It creates mitote from the Toltec teachings. Mitote is the crowded dance hall where everyone's screaming, you can't hear what anybody's saying. And it's all kind of local. And then when you quiet things down, and when you get in heart coherence, things quiet and they ground and the energy gets more quiet and there's less shouting. And that's called coherence, right? So when we're able to create heart coherence, when in a group, like in groups of communities of people that are all interested in creating heart coherence, then what happens is that the energy shifts, and it's actually a lot harder to be disruptive in a coherent space because there's like a buffer. It's like hard to bring yourself to be dissonant inside of a coherent space.
Love that.
And then you walk away. It's kind of like, when there's a party and you get invited and you don't really want to go and you're like, oh, I don't want to go. But then you go and you had the best time. A lot of these people might not necessarily want to come to the party.
I always want to go to the
But
party.
then they leave and they're like, that was amazing.
This has
And
never
then
been
they
a
come back.
Not a party I didn't want
And
to go
then
to.
they throw the party.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
It's funny how this party spreads as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's great that you have brought together so many people like myself that have been on the path, that have decided to join the party and like host our own parties, right? Like, hey, this is so cool. I want to host my own party. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah.
what I'm here for. I forgot. And then
Yep.
there's also a lot of people who are here for this and they simply forgot. Like they got
Yes.
trapped up in their wounds. They got trapped up in their like, you know, stuff, their human stuff, and holding on to it and then not heeding the call because it's so noisy with the metote. Like they're not hearing the call and they're not heeding the call. But if we just can amplify through these kind of communities and networks, we amplify the coherent state. What happens is that it reduces the noise on the planet, and then those who are next in line to hear the call will hear it more easily, is what I'm trying to say.
That's such a perfect way of describing YouTube. That mitote.
Noise.
It's like yes, it is just it's so much noise that you just get caught up into the one thread that you're hearing when there's some great stuff on there if you search for it. But the problem is that
You got to search for it.
and when you search for it and find it, the next thing that you get served might be something completely
You
different.
got to start all over again.
Yeah.
And it's all jumbled up, so
is.
you have to be very strategic. It's kind of like when you go to the grocery store and you're on a diet or you're like just being mindful about what you eat. You got to be really selective about which aisles you go down.
Yes.
Like I know this and I
Yeah.
need this and I have my list. I'm not getting anything that's not on my list. I mean, that's kind of like Facebook and all of those too. You get started doom scrolling and then pretty soon your energy's down, you're tired, now your brain's overactive, you're overwhelmed, you're exhausted. And so instead of like doom scrolling, you could actually come over to New Reality TV and scroll like joy scroll.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could scroll some really awesome content that isn't going to send you down one of those other death spirals.
Right.
And we try to make there be something for everyone. You can watch the 24-hour broadcast. If you have a lot of time, you want to watch an hour-long show, we have hour-long shows. We have 30-minute shows. If you just have 5 minutes, we have a whole section of shorts where you can just get short little inspirational messages. So we try to kind of put it out there in consumable bits there'll be something for everyone. Because some people just don't have that attention span, but some people want more.
Yeah.
So we've got it.
And if you really want long, we've got movies too you can watch. So what I love to do is put on the broadcast and just sit there and it's on in the background as I'm working, and I'm watching it and then working and watching it and working. And every time I look, it's a different show. And every show, when I look, it's something that I need to hear, and that's again super selfish. The reason why we built New Reality TV is because I wanted this content. Thankfully, it's helping other people. Otherwise, I'd be in big trouble.
Bonus.
But I use it every day. I would say I watch the broadcast every day. I love it. I love it and the content partners that we have on there.
Oh my gosh, the people are the best. I was having a rough day yesterday, and we have a roundtable meeting with the content partners at the end of the month. We do too because of all the time zones. And, I'm like, Will had a migraine, so he couldn't be at it. I'm like, should I just cancel it? I'm just in a bad place. This is not going to go well. I'm like, I got to, at least I got to tell them that it's going to be short. So I click on and there's all these people on there and they're all just these smiling, happy and talking about stuff and just the energy. It totally transformed me. I got off the phone call or the meeting. I went over to Will. I'm like, hey, and he got his energy up and it just spread like wildfire. And it's because of the people. They are so amazing and so full of love and energy and good vibrations. And everybody, I think, was feeding off everybody. And it's just wonderful. It's the best meal.
And every once in a while, we have summits or opportunities for a bunch of those content partners to be together that interact with the audience, and that's our favorite stuff because then they get to experience that too.
Well, if someone subscribes to the highest level, which is like $11 a month, it's not a lot, then they have a separate portal that they can actually access our content partners and maybe do sessions with them or whatever. It's really great.
Yeah.
The community is it's the icing on the cake.
And we're about to start a healing circle every week, and we're doing workshops and events and classes and all kinds of really cool stuff because we want to spend as much time as we can in like-minded company. To your point, you have to surround yourself with people like this for that support system because we are for whatever reason, we were strategically placed all across the globe for a very specific reason. And that is to help people around the entire planet to wake up in the areas that we're in. But because of that, we are severely lacking in that support system ourselves. This allows us to bring us all together to be the support system for each other. And that's when we are extending an invitation for those that are listeners or watchers to come and be part of that community, because that is going to be your support system as well, because we are truly, truly a loving, supportive, collaborative, beautiful community. And I couldn't be more excited to be part of it.
I love that. Yeah, I love everything you guys just said. It's beautiful. And that's exactly what I was trying to say. When we come together in this with that intention of love, that's what grows and builds, because we hold that intention. And it's like in my ancestors, my Cherokee ancestors, they would have certain people that were assigned to keep the fire lit, you know? And so it feels like we're like keeping the fires lit.
Yeah.
You know, the fire is lit, and we're honoring it, and we're devoted to it to be sure it doesn't go out, and that it only grows and spreads. And that's what we're doing here. I just love it. It's beautiful.
I love that thought.
I do too. And I think the only difference is instead of us feeding the fire, I feel like it's feeding us.
I mean, all the way around.
It's reciprocal. Yeah.
Yeah. We're feeding the fire, and then in return, the fire is feeding
great.
us. It's beautiful.
It's feeding us, and that's what they talked about in the Celestine prophecy. Anyway, is when you feed the energy of positivity with the plants or whatever, like it volleys positive energy back and forth. And when you volley positive energy back and forth, that's what grows. And conversely, you could volley negative energy back and forth, and that's what will grow. And we've already seen lots of examples of that.
Oh, yes.
So weird. This is the second time today that the Celestine prophecy has come to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the other interview we had, I almost threw out the Celestine prophecy as an example we were talking about.
That's funny,
because that is I read that book when I was in my 20s.
Oh, me too.
I fell in love with the message. I still have it, and I still pick it up every once in a while, because it's even though parts of it are pretty hokey, it's still, if you look into it, it's actually it's a beautiful piece of fiction that ties into the reality of where we're living.
Yeah, it has the secrets in there of the mystery.
It does, yeah. They call it the insights, right? But
it has the insights. It's actually, and they are true. Those are the insights. So beautiful. Gosh, I love this, you guys. So beautiful. I'm going to place the website for New Reality TV into the show notes. And also, of course, you're going to find the Skeptic Metaphysician podcast up there. And you guys, there's so many episodes. I'm on there too. Really great episodes. I'll link to mine.
Yeah. And you actually, we need to mention, you don't, Soul Nectar just started on New Reality, but you also have another show called Medicine Woman.
Medicine Woman. Yeah. Medicine Woman was intended just for you guys. And so I have like 10 episodes of that recorded and up there on the platform. And I'm in a sacred pause on that in the moment. I know there's going to be more episodes coming. There's been this really deep wiring happening inside of me that I just need to give space to. And I'm listening to that. I'm listening to that inner guidance and following it, and some beautiful things are opening up. So awesome. I know that I'll be back to do more of that. But in the meantime, Soul Nectar shows on there too. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And the lessons in Medicine Woman are beautiful as well. So, I mean, even though there's only 10 episodes, the 10 episodes are powerful.
Yeah.
So, it's a great series.
It's actually medicine work, so because it's awareness work. Yeah. Once you become aware of it, you can't stop being aware of it.
That's right.
That's how it works.
No coming back. And I'm glad. Even though
talk about that mini series, like you were talking about the master class.
Yeah, exactly. That really is what Medicine Woman is. It's a master class, no doubt about it. Yeah.
That might have to be like season 2.
There you go.
Maybe that's season 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, basics for beginners. Well, this was awesome. Thank you guys for coming on, and thanks for being so patient with me and my own process. And that's another thing I love about you guys. You're so understanding about all of our lives. We're also going through our own spiritual mastery as content providers. Like, we're also going through our own like wobbles, and we're doing our best to keep pumping that light out. But sometimes we just need to go take a nap.
Yeah.
No
for like
question.
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no question about it. And we have to hold that space for you just as much as we hold that space for ourselves and everyone who's listening and watching, because that's the point of it, right? We're human beings trying to, and what was it? Was it Wayne Dyer that said or yeah, I think it was Wayne Dyer. We're walking each other home. Either him or Ram Dass, I don't remember which one said that, but that we need to hold space for each other, and that includes the times when it's difficult, when times that we're celebrating. So that's part of the process. We love having you.
Yes.
And we are so thankful for your invitation to come on the show and talk about New Reality, because it's a really important thing for us. And we hope that those that are listening or watching will take a opportunity to take a look at it, because we're very proud of it and we really love it.
Yeah, and I love it too. I know it's genuine, it's real. It's real people doing real work that they really went through in their real lives. This is not a scam to like make a bunch of money off of people. This is like just actually here to help you, which is why I'm involved with it. So
exactly.
Yeah, because I'm not one of the like, I'm going to run down the beach with my hair flying behind me and like tell you a bunch of stories about how you can be a millionaire overnight. No, I never have done that, you guys, and I never will, because the truth is we're human and we're here to like have all these shadows and these experiences and be real. So,
absolutely. Now, I might run down the beach with my hair in the wind. I'm just saying that, but that's as far as I'll take it.
But that's as far as you won't promise the perfect life.
I will not.
Just do what you say.
You have to do your own work.
And you're not going to like
and have longer hair.
Take all their money and have like a $5 billion mansion.
No.
Well,
no.
Yeah. No. Maybe feed the homeless with that, or
yeah, we're gonna have to up the membership fee for that.
Yeah. No. In fact, that's a great point. The business is not meant to be a corporate business. It's not a typical. In fact, we were with a part of a different group before, and it became very much that, very corporate, and it wasn't aligned with us. So we built New Reality TV specifically as a way to do a very different type of business. It's not about making money. It's about helping. And in the course of helping people and getting the messages out, the universe will provide us what we need to keep it going. So when we talk about subscriptions, it's not really subscription. It's just people who come on board are helping to support the mission that we're all trying to do, because there are costs associated with the bandwidth and the storage and all that kind of stuff. But no one here is trying to become rich out of this.
It's a contribution. It's a contribution. It's a drop in the bucket for all the hours that you watch during the month for like $11.
Yeah. Really and that's the high one. There's
that's the highest.
The middle tier is $7.77. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11.77. I like those numbers.
Yeah.
And 11.11.
Yeah, we did specifically for that reason. And then people can buy an annual subscription if they prefer to support in that way. There's an annual, which is a little bit less than the monthly thing,
and there's already tons of content on there. You guys just got started with it, really.
We have like 600 episodes,
over 600 hours of content,
different shows.
So you're right. We launched it on January 6th, so it has not been that long, and we already have a massive library to the point where we have to upgrade our servers already. I mean, literally, we are in the process of upgrading our servers because we have so much content. And we are always looking for more. We're out there talking to new people. So every week, just about, we're finding that we have another show to introduce and launch.
And we do take time with the people. We talk to them, get to know them. Everybody, a lot of our content partners have books and things that they've written, which are great. And yes, please promote that and get more views to your business. But we don't want someone that's on there just to sell their stuff. So you don't have to worry about coming in and sitting through an infomercial. Right. That's not going to ever happen.
No infomercials. That's what I was getting at. Thank you for saying that.
Yes. Yeah. We're not a pay to play thing. We're not we truly, everyone on board, everyone there is truly there to help, to drive consciousness forward. And people that help others with generational curses for $500, you're not going to find that in our New Reality TV. It's truly people who have been through it themselves and want to help you get through it yourself, and we'll go through it with you together, because it truly is a. Now,
that being said, a lot of our content partners, this is their business. So they, charge whatever their session charges.
No, of course.
But for the session, if you want to work with them, you got to pay whatever their session is.
Yeah, of course.
But that's not a New Reality.
No.
The content is the content is free. It's like part of your
Yeah. the
Correct.
Content.
paid
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
subscription, which is not very much.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I was talking about those people that reach out to you.
No,
on-
I know.
on
I just didn't
Facebook
want
and-
that to be interpreted as like everyone's going to give, all their time.
Okay,
away,
right. Yeah. So the subscription, the support that you provide New Reality is to access the content, and at the top level to access the content partners themselves. They provide there are discounts and events that are free and things like that come along with it. But at the end of the day, it's about taking the classes, doing the master class in this content, because and then you're going to find someone that you love, that you might want as your guru or whatever, as your teacher, and you reach out to them and you say, hey, I want to take your courses because I want to learn from you. And that's a beautiful thing, because you could do a deeper dive at that point from that point.
Yeah, and it's just getting started. So that's the other thing, is like you're even though you've been at this for a while, it's just getting started. It's going to evolve. It's going to just grow. It's going to, just like we're evolving, it's going to evolve. And so that's also the dynamic part of it. That's very exciting. Is so many cool things could come out of it, that if you guys come be part of this community, then you'll be along for the ride. So really
Definitely.
awesome, you guys. I'll put a link into New Reality TV and also to your podcast. Is there any last thing you want to offer everyone before we head out?
The only thing I want to say is something that you just said: be part of this community, and that's what makes us different than the Netflix, than Gaia. You join and you become part of a community.
Yeah.
A very loving, supportive community, not a weird culty thing, but
Weird
but,
culty stuff.
but it's great. It's the community that's what I love about it.
Yeah. It's just regular people going through spiritual awakenings, helping other regular people going through spiritual awakenings. We're helping each other, and you become part of our family when you come on board.
Yay. I love it. And there's not one right way to do it.
Exactly. There's, like you said, right? Our thumbprints are so different. There's snowflakes, and there's no one alike. How are we supposed to think that there's one path that is right for every single one of us? Everyone has their own path, uniquely designed for them. And our goal here is to help you provide entrances into all kinds of different paths so that you can find yours. That's it.
Beautiful. Well, I think it's lovely that you guys said yes to this, and that you're anchoring this community, and you just put your stakes in the ground and we're doing this.
Yep.
Because I watched you guys. You're like, we're just doing this.
We're doing it.
We are doing it. And
Yeah.
it was really awesome to see that. And I appreciate it as a speaker teacher. I appreciate you doing it. And I'm glad to be part of it. So guys, check it out. I'll put the link in the show notes, New Reality TV, and you will see that down in the show notes. And I hope you join and come watch Medicine Woman, because it's only over there. That's the only place it is, you guys. So if you want it, you got to go over there to get it. And it is a total masterclass. Okay.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we're going to give kisses now, and please share this out with anybody that you guys think would appreciate these messages. And in the meantime, here come your kisses. You guys can join me if you want to give kisses to them. Here they come. We love you, and we'll see you next time on Soul Nectar Show. Bye for now.
Thanks, Kerri.
everyone.
If you found even one gold nugget in this episode of Soul Nectar Show, will you do us a favor? Will you subscribe, like, and share this episode? Maybe even write a comment and let us know what you thought about it. We really, really want to engage with you at a much deeper level. Let's be part of community together. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now. To dive in deeper to nourishing conversation, visit soulnectar.show.
Soul Nectar Show. Awaken, awake, Nectar Show. Take a sip from the drip of nectar, from the source of who you are.